Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to the Raw Spiel, where we keep it real with the hard truth. I'm very happy to have with me Mr. Fred Rice of the Pilgrim Jubilees, the legendary Pilgrim Jubilees. I tell y'all, I grew up in quartet. I played and sung in one myself, and I'm just thinking before I joined the quartet I was in. I'm from Louisiana, and we used to, I used to travel with my dad down the road, and I always have a case of cassette tapes that we'll be listening to quartets, and I tell you, the Pilgrim Jubilees were one of them. And I have the Pilgrim Jubilee, Dixie Hummingbird, Soul Stir. So we going to a program, so we listen to them groups on the way there. So I'm just really happy to have Mr. Fred Rice of the legendary Pilgrim Jubilees join me on here. Sir, thank you for coming on. Thank you for agreeing to this interview.
Oh man, I'm honored to be here, honored to be asked.
Oh yes, sir. And just tell us, how did you wind up with the Pilgrim Jubilees? If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, that started a little bit over 29 years ago. I was at a program that they were on, and I filled in. Michael wasn't there, and I played bass that night, and it took off from there. I've been playing and singing ever since. That's how it started. I sit in one night. That's in Columbus, Mississippi. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that's all right. If I want to see anything, I'm sure I saw a video you were you with the Blind Boys of Alabama at one point too?
I did a few years with the Blind Boys. Yeah, I did.
Okay, but how do we start? Yeah, how you hook up with them guys? I know them guys. I look at their itinerary. I know them guys. They stay super busy. I don't know how things are now since that pandemic hit, but
Right.
I know they was. I'm talking about busy, busy.
Yeah, yeah. They stay busy, man. But that came about. That came from inside of the Pilgrim Jubilee.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a call from Bobby, a guitar player, Bobby McDougal. He called me. They needed a bass player for a weekend, and Clarence had called him, and Bobby called me and told me. He said, hey, Clarence wants you to call him. He said, call him because I told him you were gonna call him, and I called him, and that's how I connected with the Blind Boy. That came from inside of the group, and I had about a 3 year, maybe about 2.5 to 3 years run with the Blind Boy.
Okay. Okay. When you with the Blind Boys and the Jews, did they did like certain dates collide? Maybe the Jews had somewhere. Maybe the Jews and the Blind Boys had to be at the same place at the same time. Did you
Yeah,
ever run into that situation? And and,
yeah,
and how did you go about choosing which way to go? I know it had to be a tough one.
yeah. Well, what happened? They had a few tours coming up, and they wanted me. They liked my work. So what I did, I talked to Major about it, and he told me to go ahead and do it. They had the dates, got an opportunity to make a pretty decent living. So he said, "Hey man, anytime when you get ready to come back here, your job is waiting for you." And the thing is, I never left the Jews. See, that's the thing.
Right.
I always did both. But when I had to choose, I had already went through the proper channels, and I would.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it happened. That's how it went.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, y'all. We're speaking with Mr. Fred Rice of the Pilgrim Jubilees. You know, some time ago I talked with Reverend, I'm sorry, Pastor Carlton Lewis of the Dixie Hummingbirds, and and I mentioned to him, Mr. James Davis. Now he was known for being real strict. He had some of his rules that he had for the hummingbirds, even down to to their clothes. If they were late, they got fined. Things of that nature. Yeah, so he ruled. He was pretty tight, pretty stern leader. So
Yeah.
your time with the Jews under Mr. Clay and Cleve, Major and Ben, did they have any strict rules that kind of stick out to you right now?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Several. But the biggest thing was being prompt and having respect for the group and yourself. As long as you could cover those bases, that you didn't have a problem. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, we had rules we had to go by, and Major didn't mind finding you. Yeah,
Yeah, I tell you but I tell you that's what it takes. Groups like the Pilgrim Jubilees and also like the Hummingbirds. Hummingbirds been around for almost 100 years because of those strict guidelines. And even
yeah,
after Mr. James Davis had retired,
mhm,
even though they didn't have a manager, he laid down the foundation, and then and they still going at it. And I know,
yeah,
unfortunately, most of the core guys are going for the Jews, Mr. Major Robinson, Ben Chandler,
yeah.
Clay Graham, and Bobby. But so y'all even though they're going, y'all still got those rules in place for I guess for your current lineup.
We got the same, yeah, same mindset, same. I feel like if it got them where it got them, it could take us a little bit farther. So
Yeah.
yeah, we have the same uh, 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 rules. I was looking for another word, but that's yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that's good.
see, what it does, it uh see we have seemed to some of us have seemed to have lost respect for what we do and what and who we stand for.
Hmm.
And those rules help to keep a lot of that stuff in perspective. You know, yeah, that's what it's all about. I tell you, see, man, like when I first went on the road with the Jews, you just like going to the program. Of course, they wanted us there on time, but then we had to be dressed.
Yes, sir.
We couldn't come looking any kind of way. And they really wanted you to have a suit on with a tie, but they would
Hmm.
take, you know, dress clothes, like shirts out and untucked. That didn't work.
Yeah.
That didn't work back then. Blue jeans and tennis shoes.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you, man. Yeah,
But that's
that's what I'm talking about.
you know
Yes.
the trend nowadays, and you have to keep up, be, not so much as do what they do, but stay relevant, you know.
Right.
But we also have to stay respectful. Mhm.
Yeah, definitely that, y'all. We're again we're Mr. Fred Rice of the legendary Pilgrim Jubilees. Um, no, well, first of all, how was Cleve Graham holding up? How was he doing nowadays?
Cleve is doing pretty good, man. He's in good spirit and everything. We were together on 2 weeks ago. And he was there with us, and he's doing pretty good. He's blessed to be here still.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad that he's one of the few legends from the golden era that's still with us. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
we
grateful that he's here and he's able to travel whenever he can. That's a blessing.
that's right.
And
That's right.
okay, so I um I know you have two new guys. You got yourself. You got Eddie Graham, Mike Atkins. And
Hmm.
then who are the I see there's two or three other fellas. Well, yeah, otherwise, what's your current lineup of the Jews?
Well, we got we got a guy from West Point, Mississippi, the Ben Chandler nephew, great nephew.
Yeah.
He's singing tenor.
Okay.
And Ben, he kind of just like Ben too.
Yeah, you got that sound.
He got the sound and a lot of Ben's characteristic. Yeah, sometimes it's just like being around Ben all over again. Yeah,
Hmm.
he fit right in with us too, man, and he's doing a great job. And we have another young man from West Point, that Jose Larry. He was doing the baritone stuff, and I kind of moved him, because he's kind of middle voice, second tenor, and baritone. Uh, he does a
Okay.
good job. Doing a good job.
All right. Yes, I tell you, and I tell you all this. Groups like the Pilgrim Jubilees, those Soul Stir, Dixie Hummingbirds. Even though the core has gone, they left y'all behind a lot of songs. If
Yeah,
y'all don't, I mean, I know y'all able to write your own stuff, but if not, y'all got catalogs and
yeah,
catalogs of songs to choose from.
yeah,
You only got to write another song if you don't want to.
yeah.
And from what you ever knew when I'm sorry I wasn't prepared. I wanted to play some of y'all new stuff, but y'all pretty much went back into the vault and
We
dug up some old goodies
we
and,
did.
and redone them. Yeah. And like thing I like about it too, yeah, and I want to tip my hats off to you guys. Y'all guys are maintaining that Pilgrim Jubilee sound.
So
And man, I really appreciate y'all for doing that.
thank you, thank you, thank you. We want to stay true to our roots. Like I said,
Yeah.
we want to be relevant, but we want to stay true to our sound.
Yes,
We went
indeed.
back and did a few of the older songs, um, because we just wanted to show, that we were able to produce the Pilgrim Jubilee sound, and we have some new material. Uh, we already got some new stuff, but we just wanted to go back, and some of that stuff would fit today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I tell y'all, the Jews, they are really one of the trailblazers out there. Matter of fact, when I was in the quartet, I wrote a few songs, and I know one song in particular. I had the Pilgrim Jubilees in mind, from the intro to the rhythm guitar. That was just straight up Pilgrim Jubilees influence on the song I wrote. So
okay.
y'all, we talking about some trailblazers here. The Pilgrim Jubilees. Uh, your time with the Jews, when Mr. Clay, Mr. Ben, and Major was around, your time traveling up and down the road with them, with those guys, the core group. Did you experience any kind of like competition from the? You feel like in that competition or tension from other groups that might have been on the same bill as y'all?
Well, that's it's not a tricky question. That's not the word. It's it's hard to give a yes or no answer to that question. Now, the thing is, from what I experienced and what I've learned over the years, is everything we do, if it involves someone else, it's to some degree competitive.
Right.
It doesn't matter what it is. So uh, we just have to accept that. That's just the nature of man. Now, as far as trying to outdo one another, I've never experienced that attitude coming from any of the guys, that was doing it you know, when I started.
Yeah.
Everybody did their thing. Now, when they hit the stage, all of them. But I just didn't experience no animosity. I guess that's a word to use, or trying to just literally outdo someone.
Right.
I didn't. I'd never seen that. Everybody came to do what the Lord gave them to do, and they did it. But they didn't have to, because all those guys had their own identity, and they were
Yeah.
comfortable with themselves. They didn't worry about
Exactly.
what the next man did, and if it was, I didn't experience it. So,
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad to hear that too, because I sometimes I'll be on certain social media sites, and I listen, especially in the quartet field. I know it's not just in quartets, but it seems like in today's time, people are open to competition.
oh yeah,
I know people say, even if you say, "Oh, I'm just doing this for the Lord," they'd be like, "Man, get out of here! Nobody want to hear that." I hear stuff like that. I'm like, ultimately, well, what you do for Christ, that's what's going to last.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I'm just amazed. Now that's why, unfortunately, that kind of give quartet a bad name. But I know it's not just a quartet field. But like I said, I know I just listen. Nowadays, people are more open to saying, "Oh, it's a competition." Sometimes they even have programs that's I guess set up as a competitive nature. That's
yeah.
I say, man, I don't know how you can consciously, saying this is competition, but okay, let's say if if you standing, if God's standing before you right now, you got to answer to that. You go answer, okay, God saying, okay, are you praising me, or you trying to gain the world? That's basically what it's seems like it's coming down to.
Yeah.
It's kind of discouraging to hear people just trying to make a competition when you're supposed to be ministering. I
That's
don't.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, so that is something, and and those of you out there, the Pilgrim Jubilees, they have a book. They do have a book out. And when that book came out, like in '03, but when year did that book come out?
No, excuse me. No, that was yeah, you're taking me back now.
Yeah,
Right, I think it was '02.
'02.
It is '02 or '03, one of them. Uh-huh. I
Yeah,
want
and
to say '02 though.
if y'all don't have a copy, it's a good read. I don't know what happened to mine. I
I
had a
got the
copy. I don't know what
copy,
happened to
but
mine.
I was looking at it a few weeks ago, but it's '02 or '03.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And other one. And now my mind goes back to what Clay Graham was saying in the book. I was just going to paraphrase. And that was he spoke on competition. Now, I mean, there was certain groups in that era that didn't want to be on the same program with the Jews for whatever reason. I'm sure they know what go happen when the Jews hit the floor. They have in church. They go tear it down. He named a couple of the groups in the book. But yeah, that's why I was asking. Things maybe things are toned down from that era to now. That's why I was kind of curious. If there's people out there that are trying to throw mud on your signal, maybe mysteriously y'all the Jews on program, and all of a sudden the mic's not working right. Just no, I just
Well,
wonder about stuff like
now,
that.
well, that has happened.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I've experienced that. Uh, I've experienced it. That's yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm
yeah.
just thinking of overall as far as just competing goals. But if you just break it down, piece by piece, then yeah, you'll find it.
Oh yeah. We were speaking to Mr. Fred Rice of the legendary Pilgrim Jubilees, and I tell you, you hung around the core. But I'm actually about know each member. Let's see. Let's start with Major Robinson. How was it like? Spending all the time with him. What was he like off stage?
Major was a cool dude.
Yeah.
And he liked me, man, because I don't know. I don't know. Major was like a father away from home
Mm,
for me. Yeah, yeah. He took me pretty much under his wings, man, and I did a lot of on several of those recordings. It's actually me singing the baritone and not Major.
okay.
So it was a while before my name appeared in any credit or anything like that. I think I had did about 3 recordings before. As a matter of fact, I know I did 2 before. I think it was 3 before my name actually appeared on any credits. But that's yeah, that's me most of the time.
Yeah. So I think I was listening to you talking to Mr. Jonas Ross. So he was on that in revival too. He was one of the
That was my
background
first
singers.
record. Yeah,
Oh, I tell you, that's
everybody.
why didn't Malico put that on video, man?
They
That
asked
that
that same question after.
yeah, that's well, I tell you, that's something. And and what about being what kind of person being was on and off stage? What are some of your memories of Mr. Ben Chandler?
Being, you know, all the guys were good guys. Let me say
Mm,
that first and foremost. All of them. We was just like a family, man. Like your mother and your brothers, your fathers. That's
mm-hmm.
what it was. You know,
Okay.
the love was that way. The even the chastisement pretty much was that way, and it was all done out of love. Yeah, but to get to your question, Ben was like a prankster. He liked to joke around a lot, to keep people laughing all the time. He always had something going on.
Oh yeah.
Then on the stage, oh man, I I I fit right in. It's like my whole life. That's where I was trying to find my sound, my style. I mean, people were thinking that I was a son. They were saying Major had to be my dad. Major had to be my granddad. I said, no, then Ben must be my dad. Ben must be my granddad. And it went on, because
Yeah.
they say, well, you talk like him. You walk like him. You act just like a Jew.
Hey,
Just, It's just one of them things, man. But yeah, it was great, and I miss it. I miss every one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we're speaking with Mr. Fred Rice of the Pilgrim Jubilees. And what about Mr. Like, yeah, probably we'll lump them together, Mr. Clay and Cleve Graham. I tell you, I wish those guys was around. I wish Major Ben and Clay was still here. I would have loved to see them all together, live in person. But you know, yeah, yeah. To me, it seems like according to that book, listening to that being that Pilgrim Jubilees book, it just seemed like Clay was a straight shooter. It just seemed like he just he seemed like he really meant business. Yeah. So was it? So what was Clay and Cleve like on and off the stage?
Well, I'll start with on the stage part. And there was a 1-2 punch
Yeah.
on the stage. Different, they had different characteristics, and neither one tried to compete with the other, or you find yourself uh, someone else is doing something, then you may uh, emulate it or say, "Well, I'm gonna use this and put it over here, make something." Not never. They were unique in their own way, and they were masters of their craft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, both and Clay more so than Cleve. But here's the thing: the only Cleve was Clay, what I'm trying to say. Clay was a perfectionist.
Hmm.
He mistakes wasn't in his vocabulary.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah, and but what I was trying to say is the difference in the two of them. Man, Cleve was the same way. They wanted it right, but Clay would tell you
Mm.
straight up. Cleve not so much. A little bit more passive. That was the
Yeah.
difference in the two brothers on the stage. But off the stage, man, like I said before, uh, that family.
Mm.
Yeah, that family. And if you notice, Jubilee were one of few groups, very few, that actually stayed together, same
Mm.
members for
Oh
at least
yes.
50 years.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. And
yeah, over 50, but I'm just saying at least 50 years. The same guys. So that ought to say a little bit about, you know, uh, the character of the Pilgrim Jubilees as a whole.
definitely so. I tell you, that's how long the Jews been together? Been about 70 years now.
The
The
group
Jews been in existence.
actually started in 1944
Oh man.
in Houston, Mississippi. Yeah,
Whew. I tell you, that's a long time, and like I said, that takes commitment. You got to have some kind of rules or something to last that long.
yeah, yeah.
And so that's
Got to have the Lord on your side.
yes indeed.
Yeah,
I tell you, and it makes them okay. And when you guys go on these different programs and stuff, so I know sometimes you might run into some shady promoters. They may not, you might agree on the price or whatever, and you get there and they fall short. They supposedly fall short. So have y'all? Well, I'm sure. Okay, when y'all experienced that, how did you guys go about handling a situation like that? If it has, if it ever happened.
yeah. Uh, unfortunately, it does happen, and it has happened, man. Well, you know, if it just has to happen, first thing you just have to put that aside and dwell on why we there in the
Right.
first place, and try to focus on going inside and ministering to God's people. And we worry about the pizzas, man. After, I mean, He always work it out, though. The Lord always work it out. Yeah, but it
Oh
has
yeah.
happened though. But I mean, I don't can't say about other groups, but for us, we go ahead on and because you never know. Uh, uh, Things happen sometime for a reason, and sometimes if you don't be obedient to what you called to do, you miss your blessing and the opportunity to bless somebody else.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed. That's something I just, my mind went back when I was still in my hometown, you know, originally from Louisiana. No, I was in a local group, but um, I think I think the guy promoting it, yeah, he got he had booked the keynotes, and I don't know what happened. I saw both of the tallies, the bass and the guitar player they came off the bus. I don't know what happened. They talked to they talked to the promoter or whatever. Then before you know it, I looked up. They was on that bus and gone. I said, man, I don't know what I don't I don't know what happened. I just speculating. It might have just been the I guess whatever agreed price wasn't there. But I just that I guess that happens pretty common. Like I said, I guess some groups, like you said, they handle it differently. Like I said, the
Well,
Jews, they just go ahead and do what y'all there to do, and some groups, hey, you ain't got to be gone. I know some cats heard back in the day they be carrying guns, so
yeah,
that's
well,
a little extreme.
you know that sometimes it depends on the circumstances
Yeah,
around what happens.
right,
You know, a lot of times, you know, some of the promoters uh, would there would be unnecessary changes. Put it that way. So that changed the circumstance, the whole atmosphere of the situation. You know, 'cause the older group, I don't know none of them just being too naive to perform.
right.
If everything on the up and up, see,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if a joker push your back up against the wall, man, with that slick stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
so,
another story. Yeah,
sometimes you have to take a stand.
yeah, yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
like I heard of an example. Um, there's no major artist, what to saying, I guess one of the musicians talked to the promoter, whatever, but he said, "Oh man, the money ain't here." So the guy he was looking at the audience and see, yeah, the money there, but I guess he cornered the guy in the bathroom. They locked the door, but they got the money. The group got paid, but it's a shame you had to go to that extreme
yeah. It,
to
it,
to to get it, but it's
it
he,
happens,
he got
man.
the money.
It happens, man. It happens. Yeah. And see, like them ticket programs like that back in the day, Major, he would have me and Ben used to help him.
Hmm.
He'd be on the door, and he put me on one side and Ben on the other side. We count them heads, see if them heads match them tickets that this guy said we
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all you got to do it.
yeah, because sometimes place be packed, running over with people, and you look around and this guy's gone with all the money.
Mm-mm-mm.
Now the people, they're waiting to see who they came to see. They don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that put in, like I said, different situations call for different measures. But overall,
Right.
all the group, and I'm not this. I'm just going from experience, man. I don't know anyone that just actually say, "Well, okay, well, you ain't got my money. I ain't saying."
Mm-hmm.
There are
Oh yeah.
circumstances around that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I tell you, that reminds me of a interview I heard BB King was giving. I think he, well, he he got that promoter good. I think BB King was saying he was playing somewhere to get the promoter said he wasn't going to pay him. You know, right? So BB King did his set, but then BB King got on the mic said, uh, well, the promoter said he's not going to pay me, but y'all pay the ticket to hear me, but I'm not getting paid. But y'all do what y'all want to do. So I guess all the people born versus I guess they got their money back.
mm,
And you can for no BB King's. Like I said, it ain't just in the gospel. It goes all across the board. I guess in the blues, R&B, just
yeah,
it goes all over. But me personally, I just think it's a shame that it happens in the gospel field, knowing what if your if your goal is to um, if it's for God, if it's to lift up His name, if it's to minister to people, it's a shame. It's just some underhand and shady stuff. You got to worry about that too.
yeah,
That's just my opinion, y'all.
yeah,
That's just my opinion.
yeah.
All right, y'all. There you go ahead.
No, I was just saying, that's how, uh, you know, like a lot of times when the group stall to come out, that's what be going on. We put a little pressure on that promoter because the people gonna start wondering why the group ain't coming out. And everybody start
Yeah.
asking questions, and everybody want their money back. Well, you'd rather come
Hmm.
on up with these few extra dollars than give these people their money back. So
Have a ride up in there.
yeah,
Yes, indeed. This is
yeah.
Mr. Fred Rice of the Pilgrim Jubilees that we're speaking with. Yeah. So what's uh, so y'all? Well, first of all, anybody that want to book y'all, who do they make contact with?
You can contact Eddie Graham. Uh, that's 662-452-4347. Uh, myself, 662-648-7132. Michael Atkins. And I cannot remember Mike's number off top of my head.
Okay.
Should have it in my hand. I'll have to add it.
Okay. Okay, man. So y'all heard that? So hope y'all heard that now. That y'all can want to book the Jubilees, the Pilgrim Jubilees in your area.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
contact
y'all.
us. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's
No,
like
go ahead.
you can they can contact us through our band page on Facebook or YouTube.
Y'all heard that, y'all. Be sure y'all reach out to them. You want them at the program. We got several ways to reach out to this legendary group, the Pilgrim Jubilees. Yeah, before we get out of here, I want to, good gracious, man. Oh, yeah. Got to ask you about Mr. Bobby and Mr. Mike Atkins. I tell you that Bobby, even when I was first learning to play the guitar, besides my listening to my dad play, Mr. Madu was one of the ones I would listen to. I try to imitate his style. And I tell you, when I heard "Don't Let Them Down," I did a first boom, 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 boom. Now look, I thought I was doing something. When I learned how to, when I learned how to do that and that rhythm he was doing. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So what was it like hanging around Mr. Bobby and Mike?
Okay, well, you got two guys with masters of that craft, and
Hmm.
man, I learned, most of what I know from both of them. Good guys, McDougal. Uh, we would like, I don't know, he was my main man. I always try to play like him.
Hmm.
He was started as a kid. He was just something about his sound that moved me.
Oh
You know?
yeah.
So, and I find myself uh, now doing a lot of things that he did. You know, or at least trying to anyway. He's such a dynamic sound, man. He was the sound of the Pilgrim Jubilees. And him and Michael fit like hand and glove. You know, and it just worked out. Yeah, yeah, it
Yes, sir.
worked out.
Yeah.
We still got Mike with us.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, we still got Mike with us. He's still thumping that bass.
Yes, yes, he is, y'all. I'm just that's another legend too that's still with us. But Mike Atkins, I tell you, I try to fumble with the bass too, but I ain't gonna even try to do what he do. I'm just I stick to the fundamentals and just let it go, let it go.
All
Yeah, I
right.
tell you. Yeah, man, I ain't go the whole show. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on here and and a, and a new project. How can the people get a hold of your new project that you have out? And y'all have anything coming out in the future, or just you can share that with us now.
Yeah. We got a EP out entitled "The Whole World Is Changing," uh, and it's available on all digital outlets. You can that's the best way to get it. You can stream it, download, or purchase it on any all of Spotify, uh, YouTube, Amazon, all that stuff. Apple, whatever your streaming platform is there. And we would love for you to stream it, purchase it, or download, put it in your playlist. Pilgrim Jubilees, yeah. And we going to start uh, the first of this coming year working on a new project. So we hope to have something fresh for you by the spring of this coming year.
Y'all heard that right now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Y'all heard that,
Be
Mr. Yeah.
be new
Oh, you
and
go
old
ahead.
coming up this next time.
Oh,
New
oh
music and some of the older music.
man, that's new and old. I tell you, I can't wait. I can't wait for that to come out. I'm looking forward to that from the Pilgrim Jubilees and I tell you, Mr. Rice, I appreciate you for coming on, taking the time to talk to me about the Pilgrim Jubilees and looking forward to I'm looking forward to your new recording that's coming that you guys are going to be working on. I'm looking forward to that. And again, y'all, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. However you're listening, however you may be listening, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I thank Mr. Fred Rice for being part of the Raw Spiel. And until next time, everybody, God bless you all.
God bless. God